Hi everyone, welcome to our Tuesday TNT. Now I've got some news about a road trip that's coming up. I'll tell you all about that at the end of the program. But let's start with some good news today, and we go to the Royal Coast Review in Thailand. The Royal Coast usually refers to that coastline of beach at Prachuap Khiri Khan that we now know as Hua Hin. And Hua Hin welcomes the first cruise ship tourists for over 50 years. And there they are, all getting off the ship in the tender, making their way into the town for a bit of pleasure. And the MV Europa has been disembarking passengers in Hua Hin this morning. That's yesterday, as the ship is now offshore in Hua Hin waters. The MV Europa is en route from the Philippines via Vietnam to Singapore, with stops already made in Thailand at Koh Samui. And the ship sails under the Maltese flag, has 4 ship-to-shore tenders, each able to carry over 100 passengers. It's the first cruise ship to bring tourists to Hua Hin since 1970. Just a bit of a break between proceedings there, and a fleet of big buses were on hand, with reports that the visitors were heading for the Centara Hotel, then with some free time to roam the city. And people in the regional hospitality scene hoping this will be the first of many such cruise ship visits, and the ship will be remaining Hua Hin until 17 hours, very nautical, that's 5 o'clock last night, before sailing to Lam Shabang, which of course is the big port in Chonburi on the other side of the Gulf of Thailand. And there's a map of where it's been going. Started on the 6th of April in the Philippines, and it'll be finishing in Singapore on the 23rd of April. And if you are on the boat, you're in Thailand, take a selfie and send it in to timnewtontoday@gmail.com. I'll put it on the program. I'd like to think my viewers are the sort of people that go on cruise ships. Go to our next story now. This is from ThaiExaminer.com. A 61-year-old man dead with his dog in a freak swimming pool electricity accident in Udon Thani. Now, unintended or otherwise, they started this rather strangely. Wife was shocked after she returned from Songkran celebrations in the late evening before nightfall to find her husband floating face down in the pool. She told police the old water pump, which was still running, had been known to short circuit before. It appears the man and his dog were both electrocuted. Officers, and this happened 4 days ago, responded to the tragedy first by unplugging the water pump before leaving emergency services to retrieve the body of the deceased man and his dog as his wife began to break down. It's understood the whole body of water itself became electrified when the apparatus again malfunctioned, and police surmised the house owner also somehow fell into the pool or had jumped in and was electrocuted as the water pump was still running. That story from ThaiExaminer.com. Now to Khalsod English, and 4 bystanders, 3 men and 1 woman, were shot and injured at RCA Nightlife District in Bangkok during a brawl shortly before 1 a.m. Monday, so very early yesterday morning. The gunman was arrested by Makassar police on the spot. And Nation Thailand covering the same story, nationthailand.com, 4 injured by stray bullets at Songkran fight in Bangkok's RCA area. 4 revellers were hit by stray bullets, another 4 sustained minor injuries when a man opened fire outside a Bangkok bar, and it happened outside the Ornik bar at the Royal City Avenue. And it's Songkran's water splashing party was still going on Monday morning. A man showed up and began arguing with another partygoer. Witnesses said a scuffle broke out. The newcomer pulled out a gun, fired several shots at the ground to apparently intimidate the other man's friends. The bullets apparently bounced off the ground and hit 4 people nearby. They've been named there, and they were treated at the Bangkok hospital. Police officers rushed to the scene, found 10 spent bullet casings in the area. They've also arrested the suspect, but were refusing to identify him as of press time. And the Nation Thailand article says, though Songkran festivities officially came to an end on Saturday, water splashing parties continued, being held at many entertainment venues. So a question to you all, wherever you might be in Thailand at the moment, are you still seeing any Songkran celebrations still going on? I know that in Pattaya they have a very extended party. Is that still going on? How about up in Chiang Mai? I know they've been having extended parties up there in the past as well. Now, a slightly different Songkran story. We go to nationthailand.com again. Tourist demand for traditional Thai outfits surges over Songkran, and foreign tourists flock to Bangkok's Temple of Dawn in traditional Thai costumes over Songkran, turning the clock back a couple of centuries. And a costume rental shop close to the landmark reported that traditional Thai outfits were in high demand, and the rental price for a traditional Thai outfit, together with accessories, starts around 150 baht for 3 hours, with the makeup service included. And here we go, we've got a few pictures, and the guy saying, "Oh, do I have to take another photo?" And there we've got the ladies having their makeup done, the hair pulled up, and looks like something that a lot of the ladies would thoroughly enjoy. Plenty of those traditional Thai costumes there in the background for rent, and even the men getting in on the act, the wife supervising the guy saying, "Oh, do I have to do this?" So just a different aspect of Songkran, but Songkran now pretty much in the rear view mirror for 2023. I think the interesting thing to note now is, now that we've had this sort of flourish of tourists to some of the most popular areas in Thailand, what happens next is going to be very important. Will the tourist numbers hold up? Will the airfares come down a little bit? Will people be able to afford to come to Thailand? And where are those people going to be coming from? They're the questions that everybody in the tourist industry is asking at the moment. You're watching TNT. It's our Tuesday program, and I'll be telling you about the road trip that starts on Friday. That's coming up at the end of the program. But we go to the Tiger now, tiger.com. The story says, foreign army veteran rescued after Songkran water gun exacerbates PTSD. And a Thai rescuer took to Facebook to share knowledge about post-traumatic stress disorder after he helped a foreign veteran suffering from the condition after a water gun attack in Patong. Now, this story also happened back on Friday in Soi, Bangla, often better known to people as Bangla Road. And upon arrival at the scene, he discovered the foreign man's body temperature was high and he was breathing too fast. The rescuer explained the foreign man handed him an identification card saying he was a US Army veteran. And the foreign man explained that gun and shooting gestures exacerbates his PTSD symptoms. The water gun brought on traumatic memories of war and fights that he'd experienced. Well, I fully acknowledge the symptoms and the problems with people with PTSD, but I'll also suggest that, of course, the high humidity, just the whole intense atmosphere of Songkran and those water fights can be quite overwhelming for just about anybody. Story goes on that the rescuer went on to explain the rescue team and medical workers in Thailand were not familiar with PTSD, but he had some knowledge from watching a documentary on the topic, and PTSD is a mental health condition that can develop after experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event such as military combat, sexual or physical assault, a serious accident, or a natural disaster. And symptoms of PTSD can include flashbacks, nightmares, avoidance of triggers, hyper-arousal, negative changes in mood and cognition, and it can be treated with therapy, medication, or a combination of both. Let's hope that man got the attention he deserved and that he's enjoying the rest of his stay on the island of Phuket. Now we go to the Bangkok Post and hunt for Thai gang that abducted a rich Chinese man in a box. You won't believe this story. Well, maybe you will. And one suspect's been arrested, 4 others being tracked down by police after the abduction of a wealthy Chinese man in Bangkok on Friday. This also happened on Friday, it seems, and a payment of a 3.5 million baht ransom. The victim was smuggled out of a Bangkok condo in a plastic box and taken to Pratchop Kiri Khan. Let's have a look at that box again. Huh? Well, I wouldn't have a snowflake's chance in hell of fitting in that. I'm 174 centimetres, so I'm not sure how big this person was, but I think I'd be saying, "Can I have a bigger box, please?" And one of the suspects is the victim's spurned former Thai girlfriend. There's 4 words you never want to see. Spurned former Thai girlfriend. And a Chinese man identified only as Yu told Lumpini police on Saturday that he'd lost contact with his 34-year-old friend Wang Nangfeng. And on Saturday, Mr. Yu saw Mr. Wang in a video call. He had a bruised face. He'd learned that his friend was abducted for ransom. He was told there was no need to inform police because he'd be released after the ransom was paid. Now, given recent events where a father didn't pay the ransom for his kidnapped daughter and she ended up murdered, I suppose there'd be some additional pressure to pay that ransom. And Mr. Wang apparently had a Thai girlfriend for about a year, had broken up with her 3 months ago. The woman knew that Mr. Wang was rich and she allegedly planned the abduction with a gang of Thai men. They used an expensive car that Mr. Wang had bought for her to commit the crime. And here is some video, and this actually shows them removing the plastic box, hold that lid down, as they transfer from one lift to another. And the story goes on, the abduction occurred about 7 p.m. on Friday, and 4 Thai men entered the condo in Saton. Using the woman's keycard, they subdued him, tied his hands and feet, and used the victim's phone to call the building security guard to borrow a cart. He was then bundled into a large plastic box, well, I don't think it's that large, and taken out of the building on the borrowed cart and put in the back of the woman's car. They then drove to Hua Hin, and they forced Mr. Wang to make 2 money transfers, 2 million baht and then 1.5 million, what sounds like he paid for his own ransom. The worst thing is what happens next. And on Sunday, the gang took Mr. Wang to an eatery in Hua Hin. There, Mr. Wang fought back against them, and local police arrested him for assault. Police also apprehended a 24-year-old Thai man, and still at large with a Thai girlfriend and 3 accomplices. Drama, and a lot of it caught on video, so I'm pretty sure that they'll be able to track down the Thai girlfriend and those accomplices. Let's go to our next story now, and this is reported by Radio Free Asia, rfa.org, and culprits behind the dense smog in northern Thailand, Laos, corn and wildfires. For the past 2 months, residents across northern Thailand and Laos, as well as the Chiang state in Myanmar, which is in the far east of Myanmar, have been suffering from the worst smog in years. Thousands have gone to hospital with respiratory problems. Workers in Chiang Mai, ranked among the worst polluted cities in the world in recent weeks, have been told to stay indoors and work from home. And the main culprits between the hazardous pollution, 16 times worse than healthy levels, are out-of-control wildfires and the burning of ever wider fields of corn stubble after the February harvests to clear land for planting in May. The wildfires are fanned by drier than usual weather. Many are in hilly, inaccessible areas, and Thailand's firefighting efforts are underfunded. Farmers, meanwhile, have carved growing swathes of farmland from the forests to raise corn, grown mostly for animal feed. Demand for meat is increasing, which means greater demand for corn, and higher prices, which drives the farmers to plant, grow, and burn more. And quoting a Thai Greenpeace campaigner, the situation is the culmination of many years of bad agricultural practice, and cornfields are spreading all over the region. Between 2015 and 2019, 1.7 million hectares of land was converted from forest to maize cultivation. Then this paragraph pretty much sums it up. The Thai government announced a zero burning policy in March, but it's not been enforced. Authorities in Bangkok are hoping it will all go away by itself since they're getting ready for an election. Well, that's the bottom line. There is an election on the way at the moment. Politicians saying anything to get re-elected, including saying ridiculous things that they can solve this burning problem. This has been the worst burning season ever. The ramifications on people's health up there in the north of Thailand, on the tourism business up there in northern Thailand, is incalculable. I would say that because the pollution has spread so far and wide, and we'll check that out in just a moment, that the politicians are going to be soundly punished for their inaction this year. Let's catch a bit more of this story. And previously, villagers grew mostly vegetables, cassava, pineapple and edible flowering plants. In recent years, they've switched to maize, especially after one of the farmers became a middleman to transport it to animal feed companies. And a bit further down, the growing number of so-called hotspots, areas where fires burn or are likely to burn, are linked to deforestation and growing more corn for animal feed. And the increasing demand for corn can be linked directly to the expansion of the meat industry. And that claim made by the air pollution campaigner for Greenpeace Thailand. So let's just have a quick look at the IQ Air for today. And well, the situation is actually just a little bit better up there in northern Thailand. It looks like a lot of those worst fires have been extinguished or aren't lit at the moment anyway in northern Laos. Now, Chiang Mai still comes in at number 4 in the world rankings of the worst cities for air pollution in the world, but we can see that this air pollution is spreading all the way down to the southern parts of Thailand as well, where, of course, people vote. And we can see that we've got Phuket there, we've got Koh Samui and the islands just there on the top right. So that poor air pollution situation right across swathes of Thailand is going to be reflected, I feel, in the ballot box. That Thai election less than 4 weeks away now. Going to our next story, and partially related, from Phuket-Go.com, the Phuket Governor says go outside, the smog is natural phenomena. Really? Let's see what he says. The Governor of Phuket has assured residents that there's no cause for alarm as a blanket of smog currently hovers over the island. According to a Phuket news report, the Governor met with local officials yesterday, during which he described the haze as a natural phenomenon. It's not a problem, he says, of PM 2.5 dust at all, but a natural phenomenon in the summer, which is about to change into the rainy season. Therefore, I do not want people to worry. People can still engage in various outdoor activities due to the condition of the area of Phuket, which will have wind blowing all the time. Oh, everything's okay. And the Governor's ordered relevant agencies to monitor the situation while insisting it's got nothing to do with agricultural burning, but may be linked to climate change. Thank heaven, so now we know. It's just a natural phenomenon. So when you look up into the skies of Phuket, or other parts of southern Thailand, I assume, and you take a photo and you can't see more than a kilometre ahead, it's just a natural phenomenon. And I'd just like to briefly thank our sponsors, 5 Star Marine. They've got a whole fleet of these great little boats if you want a private premium tour off the island of Phuket to any of the 32 islands. I can highly recommend 5 Star Marine. There's a link, if you'd be interested in finding out more, in the description of this video. And we go to the final story today, this from Thai PBS World. US warship sails through Taiwan Strait after China drills. A US warship sailed through the waters separating Taiwan and mainland China, according to the US Navy, days after Beijing staged war games around the self-ruled island. And the USS Milius guided missile destroyer conducted a routine Taiwan Strait transit on April the 16th through waters where high seas freedoms of navigation and overflight apply in accordance with international law. This according to the US Navy, and the statement said the ship transited through a corridor in the strait that's beyond the territorial sea of any coastline state, and this was the first such US operation through the waterway since January. So more military posturing on both sides in that area called the Taiwan Strait. Just wish people would settle the F down and perhaps sit down around a table instead. And that's it for today's program. Hopefully you're more up to date. I was going to tell you about the road trip. So very quickly, I'll give you some more details as the week goes. But on Friday for 7 days, we're on a road trip pretty much from Bangkok to Phuket because I'm buying a car. Now, it's not the car you think it is. It might be a bit of a surprise, but there's a story behind it. Now, we are going to be detouring up to Kanchanaburi, but basically making our way west, then down south, and stopping over at various places. Some of them I don't think you've ever heard of before arriving back in Phuket about a week later. I'll tell you more about that. Please subscribe to the channel if you get an opportunity. Click that like button on the way out, and we'll see you again tomorrow.